We're here with Margaret Aguilar, who was with the RFK, the students for RFK, right, at UCLA in 1968?
Yes.
And how about some of these documents that you're holding now? They look like some pamphlets and some signs for Senator Kennedy at the time. Tell me a little bit about the history behind those.
Well, I was a part of the Students for Kennedy at UCLA, and I did campaigning. I joined the campaign, and so these were documents that we were given and handed out. And then we would go door to door campaigning, and then on the day of the election, we went out to get the vote out. And we had certain instructions and things that we had to follow, and it was very interesting meeting a lot of the people and trying to convince them to vote for Robert Kennedy. And then on the day of the election, I had a lot of papers to do at UCLA, and I was given an opportunity to go to the Ambassador Hotel. There was a married couple that was in charge of the Students for Kennedy, and they said if I wanted a ride I could go, so I decided at the last minute to go, and I was there when he was assassinated. And it was very chaotic. We got out of the building right when all the ambulances were coming, and it was a very historic event and very hard to get over the assassination.
I can imagine. What kind of impact did that have on you over the next couple of days? It was a time of national mourning. How about for yourself?
Well, I was in a state of shock for a number of days, and I could barely get through my final exams, and I really don't remember too much of any coverage, because in those times, I mean, they did have coverage on TV, but I really didn't see any of it, not until years later, because it was just so, after going through the assassination of JFK, I was in the 9th grade at the time, and I mean, that was a horrible time to get through. And then Robert Kennedy was killed just a month after, or 2 months after Martin Luther King, and so the whole campus had shut down pretty much on the day.
This is UCLA.
Yeah, when Dr. King was assassinated, that really caused a lot of problems at school and for the students to get over, and there was sort of a division between the black students and the other students. And then, working on this campaign and having him assassinated, it was devastating, and devastating to people like me that had a lot of ideals and really looked to someone like Robert Kennedy, thought that he was going to make a change. And so when he was killed, it sort of left us, not wanting to be involved, but I was involved with the McGovern campaign here locally. I was in charge of the phone campaigns, and of course he was beaten really bad.
It was a landslide in '72, yes. The world had changed greatly from '68, a time, as you mentioned, of great tumult on campuses, especially in the aftermath of the tragedy of RFK's death. Those couple of days after RFK's death, how did you personally take it?
Well, crying, upset. I had to even go and get something for my nerves, because it was trying to get through final exams with what had happened. And so it was as if someone in your family had died. It was horrible. And then being there and not really getting to see him, because he was to come downstairs. There was a lot of celebrities. Cesar Chavez was there. I don't even remember all the celebrities that they had down in the ballroom, but we were waiting for him to come down, and then a lady got up on the stage and asked everybody to leave, and she said, "Is there a doctor in the house?" And we were like, well, maybe someone fainted, and it was really hot from all the TV cameras. And we went around and looked. Some people went and looked at the monitors, and the lady got up again and asked everybody to leave, and she said, "Is there a doctor in the house?" And we saw some people come back from the monitors, and they were crying, and it just went through your brain, oh no, not again. And sure enough, someone said that he had been shot, and we saw the monitors, and then this other campaign worker offered to give me a ride home.
Oh no, not again. Did a part of you change forever that day in '68?
Yes, because we had a lot of ideals, and the Kennedys they stood for something. It was a time when you didn't know all the personal details of someone's life, and you were interested in their causes, and the Kennedys really did change a lot. they came up with so many programs, Peace Corps, and so many people wanted to do something to make a change. You don't see that too much anymore. You don't see as many people involved in politics. And my sister's the one that got me involved. She's 6 years older, and she was into politics, and so I kind of followed her lead and started, with LBJ, and then with Kennedy, and then sort of stopped with McGovern.
RFK's death, in many ways, the end of an era in American history and the end of an era in your own outlook and perspective.
Probably, yeah, because a lot of people didn't understand. There was a time I didn't really want to vote. I didn't really even feel
A disillusionment
yeah.
after 68?
Yeah, sort of like, well, we believe in somebody and they're going to be shot or killed, and it changed things. It was a different time. There was a lot of people really involved in causes and that. So, yeah, it was a different time.
Margaret Aguilar, a student at UCLA in 1968, today a resident of San Bernardino. Margaret, thank you very much for sharing this with us.